Well, a big hello, everybody. Welcome along to a live update for what we're about to be doing over the next few weeks. Next week, this time next week, we'll have the final episode of season number 1, Learning the Ropes, and then we're going to get stuck into season number 2, which should be a pretty interesting one, I dare say. First thing I need to tell you all about is in preparation for season 2, we decided that the boat needed an anti-foul. It was a little bit slow on the next episode that you're going to see. I won't preempt too much about that. And we found a couple of things wrong with it that we needed to take a look at as well. So what we did was simply this. We pulled the boat out of the water. Here it is coming out right now, which was absolutely amazing. My first time taking it into the dock as well to get it lifted out. In the lead up to this, it was quite funny. I had about 25 knots of wind coming in and I'm thinking, oh, this is great, fantastic. And as soon as I turned the corner to line it up with the crane, the wind just disappeared completely. So thank heavens for small mercies. Let's go with that. That sounds like a good plan. We got it out. Unfortunately, that's where the good news finished. A little bit later on in the day, I got a phone call from the dock staff to tell me that, yep, the keel had rust in it. So we needed to get a shipwright in to soda wash down the boat, cut the rust out, seal up where the rust had been, re-fiberglass it, then put another coat of primer on, or gel coat, then primer and all of those sorts of things before we could finally get it anti-fouled and put back into the water. Dramas didn't stop there though. As you would expect with a boat, I picked it up to take it back to the mooring, and when I got back to the mooring, was cruising up 20 odd knots of wind at the time, pushing me towards the mooring field. I lined the boat up with the mooring, came in, went to pop it into neutral, could not get it out of gear. So I ended up having to moor the boat stuck in gear in 25 knots of wind. So I figure, you know, if I can do that, maybe this next venture I'm going on is not going to be too bad. There were a couple of other little things I wanted to do. We had to fix the D-clamp where the boom attaches to the traveller. You could see that there's a bit of wear there. It wasn't to the point where it was going to break, but because I'm going to sea and going to be spending a fair bit of time out there, I'm going to do around about, probably by the time I get back, about 2,000 nautical miles. So don't want anything like that on my boat. So we went through the rigging. I fixed that, replaced it myself. Also took a look at the Dodger. You'll remember that the Dodger coming back and going down to Sydney, we had it down. We had it down because it actually broke the mount. So I managed to find a new mount and screwed that in, which turned out to be a bit of a challenge in itself. They'd put some material in there to stop water getting in where the screws go in. And as a result of that, it made it very, very difficult to pull the screws out. Ended up, tried to hacksaw it out and all sorts of things. Ended up having getting some vice grips. And once we got the vice grips, we managed to get it out. So we've cut a long story short, we've remounted it. It's all good. We now have a Dodger. Unfortunately, the material on the Dodger is just falling to pieces. Probably when we get into our first port, I'm going to have to pull out the needle and thread, and we're going to have to start sewing it up just as a temporary to get us there. It's not going to work on the sides. The sides are just ripped to pieces, but just spent all of my money. To get the bottom of the boat fixed, we were looking at $17,000 plus. That includes the anti-foul, and I also had the engine serviced and the sail drive serviced as well. There are a couple of parts that we needed there, and because we're doing such a big journey, I wanted the pros to do it and didn't want it to do it myself. And I thought, look, it's going to clean out my bank account, but at least we know we're going to be in a safe boat. So what is season 2? Well, I'm glad you asked. Tomorrow morning, real time, we will be sailing out of Pittwater. Our target is, believe it or not, the Sunshine Coast. Yep, we're going to travel all the way up the east coast into Queensland and go down to, I'm thinking probably at this stage, Mooloolaba, but we will play it by ear as to where we end up. I'm going up there to see my daughter and my grandson, who I haven't seen since before COVID. Every time I planned to go up there, COVID would hit and I couldn't leave the state. So I finally got the opportunity, so we're going to sail our boat up there, my daughter and my grandson. Hopefully going to spend a few days out on the boat, go for a bit of a sail, find nice places to anchor and spend a bit of time together, which I'm really, really looking forward to. So that's what season 2 is going to entail. Season 3 is going to be coming back. When we come back, we're going to take our time and pull into some of the amazing places up and down the east coast of Australia and take a look around. But heading up there, because we do have a little bit of time pressure, the deal is to try and get up there as quickly and safely as possible, spend that period of time that I can up there with my daughter and grandson, and then we'll start making our way back in a bit more cruisy mode. So we'll pick our days to come back. Hopefully I'll have about 5 weeks or so to make my way back, and it's going to be around, I think I did the maths, to around about 1,800 nautical miles, but don't quote me on that, by the time we get back to Pittwater. But first of all, that's jumping ahead. What we need to do is make our way up to the Sunshine Coast. So we're going to be going hard. I'll try and record as much of that as I can. I'm doing it solo, so I don't think I'm going to have too much of a chance to do those pretty little video shots that so many of you have written to say that you love looking at. I think it's going to probably be a little bit more vloggy than arty, but we'll see how we go. If the seas are up, I am solo. I don't want to take too many risks. It's my first real decent length of passage. So I'm just going to be erring on the side of caution. But if you want to follow us live, HK Sailing on Facebook is the place to go. I'll be posting everything up there, including my AIS details. So if you want to follow us and track us on AIS and see where we are in real time, you can do that. I'll put a link below to all of my social media accounts, and you can jump on there if you want. But tomorrow morning, we set sail. We head out of Pittwater, off on what should be an amazing adventure. Everybody, thank you so much for all of your help and your support. It's been so rewarding to see all of your comments. If you have just found the channel for the first time, please hit the sub channel, fingers, subscribe, fingers, thumb up, all that sort of stuff that we want. Do leave a comment if you've got any tips for me or any places you think I should visit on the east coast of Australia. Please do so. Weather-wise, it's going to be a bit of a challenge, but predominantly this time of year there are a lot of southerlies, which will bode well for us going up. May not be so much fun coming back. That's why I wanted to do what you're going to see next week, a sea trial to windward, just to see how the boat would handle. And I was really surprised with what we discovered. We'll talk more about that next week. So enjoy next week's episode. And next time we chat after that, it should be the first of season number 2. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And don't forget to join those social medias and be part of the community. Take it easy. Bye for now.